Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Battle Stadium singles video here on iStarly TV. We have a brand new team with some cool Pokemon. If you'll notice, there's not exactly a Pokemon on this team that's like super unconventional. You know, I know a lot of the videos I've been doing, I've been trying to feature like much lesser used Pokemon like Vileplume and Electivire and stuff like that. This team doesn't exactly have that. I guess you could say maybe Swampert, but this is a really strong team and it is using some somewhat unconventional kind of move sets that I want to talk about. So let's talk about it. Of course, there is the team code right there if you want to try it out for yourself. And the starting point for this team, in all honesty, I think when I built it, I was actually starting with my Chien-Pao down there. This Chien-Pao is bulky Chien-Pao. It's max HP and max attack. So the goal is to survive hits. Typically, we surprise the enemies by surviving their attacks and then dishing out massive damage because we are adamant. Also, Terra Electric is great offensively and also defensively as well because it removes our weaknesses and allows us to, you know, survive hits even better. And with the Rocky Helmet, again, we further surprise physical attackers that are not super strong, and it just works out really well for us. So yeah, Chien-Pao has been very good, and I think that's kind of where I built the team. And then around it, I just kind of threw together some Pokemon that worked pretty well. Now, if I'm being honest, I'll just go ahead and say it. I think Swampert was originally Blastoise. I tried some Shell Smash Blastoise, and that's where I kind of also built this team with these Pokemon. And it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. So I think I need to go back to the drawing board if I'm going to try out some Blastoise. I think Blastoise can work. It's just, again, I think I need to go back to the drawing board and need to try different things. This team might not be where it clicks together well. I ended up switching it to Swampert as still another good water type that can be very aggressive. This is Choice Banded Swampert. And when I tested this team after switching out Blastoise, Swampert did work really well. And it's another Pokemon where people kind of expect a certain thing from it, and then we kind of just completely catch them off guard, because typically Swampert has like Stealth Rock and Yawn and stuff like that, but this time around we're just kind of going fully aggressive with that Choice Band. We also have Flip Turn, which works really well with Choice Band, because if we predict a switch, we can Flip Turn to get off a lot of damage on them and then, you know, switch into something better. And then I settled on Terra Grass. Originally I tried Terra Fire, but Terra Grass helps me against Urshifu pretty blatantly. I mean, Terra Grass is really good, obviously. Grass is Swampert's weakness, and if we're up against a grass Pokemon, you know, Fire would also resist it, but Grass is just, you know, it can help us off or defensively because it helps us against grass types, but also offensively because it allows us to kill Urshifu. But yeah, so Swampert's there, 4 attacks, Choice Band, pretty strong. Then we have Breloom. Again, when I originally had Blastoise in that slot, Breloom was there as a means of putting the opponents to sleep, which can help Blastoise set up. But Breloom's still a good Pokemon. I've been running this Breloom set for a while now, and it's really good. Use Spore, put them to sleep. We've got 3 other moves that hit really hard. Rock Tomb is there. I think Rock Tomb is a better move. The biggest issue is if the enemy has Goldango, because then we can't touch Goldango at all. And that's why people run Bulldoze sometimes in this slot, but I found Rock Tomb to be better. Rock Tomb's better against Dragonite. So yeah, either way, Breloom's there. Breloom's good. Then we have my Incineroar, my trusty Incineroar set. I've used this on multiple teams at this point, and I just really love it. Again, when we had Blastoise, Incineroar was there to weaken the enemy with Intimidate, Will-O-Wisp, Parting Shot. But it's a great Pokemon, and it helps really, really nicely with my bulky Chien-Pao, because we can go with Incineroar, you know, weaken them, switch into Chien-Pao, and then we take hits a lot better. Then we have Espeon, my trusted Espeon set that I've run a lot. Again, just a great Pokemon, you know. I use it a lot, but that's because it's just so good. And the main point of Espeon is when the enemy has Stealth Rock Pokemon. Espeon's really good against most of them. It's good against Glimmora, it's good against Hippowdon, good against Ting-Lu, especially because of Magic Bounce, that's why. So Espeon's awesome. Finally, because we already talked about Chien-Pao, we have Fluttermane, and this is another set that I've been running a lot lately. This is my Stellar Terra type, just purely offensive Fluttermane. Hits really hard, closes out the game really nicely, and we've got Calm Mind there in case we predict a switch, or we're up against a weaker Pokemon. We can start boosting our special attack mainly. So that's why that is there. So that is the team. We're gonna try out some Swampert action. We're gonna see how good Breloom is. We're gonna see if bulky Chien-Pao is as good as I think it is, and let's get to those games. Game number 1, my opponent. Let's call out what we can admire about their team. They have Exeggutor and Hitmontop. I love Hitmontop. It's always been one of my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon, and there it is. Yeah, so they have a couple of interesting Pokemon that I'm not really sure what they'll do, so that's always kind of scary, because, as I always say, almost anything can be viable in singles. I think that Incineroar is a solid lead here. It's good against most of their team. I kind of feel like they might lead with Garchomp to get up some Stealth Rock, which honestly I don't love. Maybe I lead Espeon then in that case. And in that case, like, Espeon's also not too bad against pretty much their whole team. So in that case, I keep saying in that case, I do love Incineroar here, but I think I actually just want to lead Espeon. Just in case they lead Garchomp. Because, like, I don't think I want to bring both of these Pokemon, and I feel like if I lead Incineroar and they lead Garchomp, I would want to go into Espeon, but that just kind of doesn't work out super well. So yeah, I think I just want to lead Espeon here. I think I want to show off my bulky Chien-Pao. And I would love to bring Swampert, but of course they have a grass type. I could Terra, but then they have Flutter Mane and Chien-Pao who can both hit Swampert really hard for some good neutral damage. So, I mean, this feels like cheating, but hey, I'm running Flutter Mane on the team, like, sometimes it does feel like cheating just because it's so good. And I don't know, I do like Flutter Mane. That's the problem, is that it's a really, really good Pokemon, and I do like using it. I just try not to use it that often because it's just so good. But hey, if you want to win, use whatever. I mean, they're legal in the meta, you might as well try, right? Anyways, Hitmontop, nice, I love that. They probably have Fake Out. Now, this is a good matchup for me. Of course, I can just go for Psychic. They do have a dark type in the form of Chien-Pao, so honestly, that is a little bit concerning. That's something I'm going to need to keep in mind, but I could actually trick. Thing is, they're probably just going to go Fake Out here anyway. Could also Gleam if I'm worried about Chien-Pao. I think I'm going to start with a trick here. Fake Out on Hitmontop is, or I'm sorry, Choice Scarf on Hitmontop is not the worst. Like, it's not that bad for them because it just gives them a speed boost. Nice. Okay, well, in this case, it works out really well for me. Look at Hitmontop. Hitmontop's just so funny. He's just so cool, kind of weird, kind of cute. Look at his eyes. His eyes are dead inside. Yeah, so Choice Scarf works well because, well, mainly because they have Sucker Punch, but also because it locks them into whatever move they're going to choose here, which is Sucker Punch. I probably should have expected this. However, I do have defense EVs, so this works out really well. I know they're locked into Sucker Punch, so if they survive this, which they don't, if they had survived that, I could have just gone into something else for free because they'd be locked into Sucker Punch. So I could have done that anyway. I could have predicted that, but I think it's just fine to be safe here. So we have Espeon up. If they go into Chien-Pao or Flutter Mane, we are just dead, unfortunately, but, you know, I think we had a good run with Espeon so far. They do go Garchomp. Unfortunately, they're probably faster, which is really awkward. Let's see what they do. They cannot Stealth Rock. They might Swords Dance. They Earthquake. Okay, they finished me off. That's fine. Again, I'm not running max speed, so even though Espeon is naturally faster than Garchomp, they get the edge there because they probably are running max speed. But now I think we can go into Chien-Pao. Yeah, Flutter Mane's just such a good finisher for the games. Like, once everything's weakened, you just send it in and you just clean up, basically. If they have Chien-Pao, though, I need to be mindful of that. But either way, we might scare them out here. I mean, I think I just click Crash. Like, even if they Earthquake, we should survive it. They will be faster than me, though. They Rock Tomb, wow. Okay, well, they might have Sash. It's kind of awkward, honestly, the fact that all our Pokemon are slow. We're not used to running into a Garchomp. Okay, so we get to Sucker Punch here, which is another reason why Chien-Pao's so good. This set especially, because we're slower than a lot of things that we would typically outspeed, but then we can just finish them off with Sucker Punch. So Yeah, we're down 2-1 here. Our speed is lowered, so whatever they go into is probably going to be faster than me, even if it is like Executor. Okay, they're Chien-Pao. They don't know I have Rocky Helmet yet. This is actually scary though, like I said. What do I do here? What are they going to go for? Are they going to go Sacred Sword? We know they don't have Focus Sash because their Garchomp did. Thing is, they're guaranteed faster than me. Do I predict the Sacred Sword and switch? No, I don't. I don't think I can afford to. Yeah, they did go Sacred Sword, but if I switch there and they happen to not go Sacred Sword, then I lose. If I lose Flutter Mane, that's just the end of the game. Of course, once again, they could have Sucker Punch here, which I think kills me depending on what their moveset is. Huh. It's a prediction game, everyone. I could predict Sucker Punch and go for Calm Mind. I don't know if that really changes much. I think I might as well Terrastalize. We are faster. We're guaranteed faster than them, which I think if they have Sucker Punch, they're just going to use that, right? Oh my god. This is a situation where if they don't go Sucker Punch, I'm going to look so stupid. God, I need to get better at predicting. It's just like if I use Moonblast and they use Sucker Punch, I think I just die anyway, right? Oh god, they didn't Sucker Punch. No way. Oh my god, I should have won this game. Jeez. I mean, they could have missed that, but yeah, we're dead. Wow. That's so embarrassing. I mean, I think that's worth looking at and talking about. I always do that. What would you have done? I think, and I always ask you that because like it is a tough situation. I need to get better at predicting, but I mean, I had a good reason for going Calm Mind there. The fact is, I should have won that battle. All I needed to do was click Moonblast and the battle was over. It's painful. It's painful that it, but you know, it's a learning experience, right? I mean, obviously I want to win and that battle was really close. I think we both made plays that, you know, could have gone either way and things were going well for us for the most part, but it is worth learning from. Like we do want to take that and learn from it. I just should have clicked Moonblast. Like that sounds like the obvious play, but like I was saying, like because I was booster energy and they saw that, unless they're Choice Scarf. No, well, no, they weren't. And even if they were Choice Scarf, we were faster. My thought process was like, they saw that I have booster energy and doesn't every Chien-Pao run Sucker Punch, right? Like I was just expecting that it's very common for Chien-Pao to run Sucker Punch. So I thought like, oh, they see that I have booster energy, so they're just gonna go Calm Mind. Yeah, I mean, it was probably just stupid. I probably should have just clicked Moonblast. But my point still stands. If I had clicked Moonblast and they had clicked Sucker Punch, I think we're dead anyway. So I don't know. That's just a tough situation. And I do think I ended up making the wrong play. Like I had reasoning for why I made the play that I did, but I do think now looking back, it was the wrong play. I mean, obviously that's easier to say since I just lost, but let's go to game 2. Mono Dragon, interesting. They have Cyclizar, which you don't really see, but it is kind of good. How good is Chien-Pao here? How good is Rillaboom? Yeah, Swampert unfortunately is not great. Flutter Mane's very good because it can outspeed everything. What about Incineroar? I think I like Breloom. I mean, a lot of their dragons resist both of my stab though. Yeah, maybe not Breloom. Maybe Espeon? I don't know what to lead with. Maybe I should just lead Espeon. I at least know that Dazzling Gleam hits everything on their team for at least neutral damage, so if I have to go for that. Psychic is also a good option, but of course they do have a few Pokemon that resist it, so I mean it's funny because they're Mono Dragon, but like they have good type combinations to where it's not like there's one type that's like super effective against their whole team. So like ice, they have a couple things that resist. I guess ice is pretty good against them though. They lead Cyclizar, which is kind of what I expected. I think I might be faster with my Choice Scarf. They're gonna go Shed Tail, I think. Yeah, so this should do a lot of damage, and this might break the Shed Tail. Yeah, actually. Oh, they taunt. Sorry, opponent. That's not gonna work the way you want it to, because taunt, I have Magic Bounce, so you get taunted. Which is fine, because now I'm locked into Dazzling Gleam, but if they stay in, they're dead. If they switch out, I get off some damage on whatever comes in. You know, obviously they won't go into Latios or Latias because they're weak to Dazzling Gleam, but pretty much, well, or Hydrapple for that matter. The other Pokemon on their team do take neutral damage from Dazzling Gleam because they do have a secondary type that resists it. So they go Dragalge, which they don't know that I'm Choice. Actually, they probably do know I'm Choice Scarf because I outsped their Cyclizar. Because I was going to say, they don't know I'm Choice Scarf, so I wonder why they would go into a Pokemon that's weak to Psychic. But either way, let's go into Chien-Pao. The problem here is if they have Archaludon in the back, they could switch into that, which is kind of scary, but we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna go for the Crash. We should survive any hit that they go for. Ooh, that's a scary one though. Okay, we do survive it thanks to our HP investment. We should not have survived it if we had 0 HP, but Icicle Crash is a safe move. Of course, they could Terrastalize, but they're at -2 special attack. If they waste their Terra now, I think that gives us decent momentum. It does kill us if they survive the hit, but they don't have a great switch into Crash. If they don't have Archaludon, they definitely do not have a great switch into Icicle Crash. They end up Terrastalizing, which is interesting, like I said. Is it Steel? It's probably Steel. It's water. Okay, that also makes sense. By the way, sorry if you can hear the noise outside there. I don't know if it's a leaf blower or something. Hopefully my background music can cover it. Flinch? Flinch? No? Okay, that's fine. That's okay, because they use their Terra, like I said. So, honestly, I wonder if we can go into Fluttermane here and start Calm Minding. I'm gonna do that. Because again, we're guaranteed faster than anything on their team. They also don't have priority, so they're at -4 special attack, right? So we're safe to just start spamming Calm Mind. They're probably gonna have to switch out eventually, and if they don't, hey, we can get some free boosts. I guess I'm not exactly sure what else they could go for here. I don't want to get too greedy. Oh, they have Toxic. Okay. Luckily for me, they miss. I think it's funny. I think if you're a poison type, Toxic never misses. But because they're no longer a poison type, it missed. So now I'm not going to mess around. Ooh, all right. We just get a cancellation there. All right. I'll take it. Not the best, not the most climactic end to the battle, but we'll take it. We have game number 3. My opponent has Primarina and Roaring Moon. Those are scary. They've got Urshifu as well, who is never not scary. Swampert looks good here, but also, like, it's funny because it has different moves that are good against different Pokemon they have, but since I'm Choice Banded, it's a little awkward because if I, like, go Terra Grass and I go for Terra Blast on Primarina, they could switch in one of their Pokemon that resist it, and, you know, etc. So I actually don't know if I want to bring Swampert. I like Breloom here a lot, but then Goldango is a big problem. I think I like Breloom as a lead more than Espeon. Incineroar also looks pretty good here. Incineroar looks decent against, like, their whole team except for Primarina, though. So if I bring Incineroar, we definitely want an answer to Primarina. I think I will bring Incineroar here. Do I lead with it, though? I'm tempted to. I think I will. And then I like Chien-Pao, especially since Incineroar kind of helps set up for it. I really don't like that Primarina, but I also don't think I want to bring... Well, I could bring a lot of physical attackers. That could be fine. Oh no. I'm bringing No, I'm gonna bring Swampert. Oh, did I do it? I'm bringing Swampert mainly because, you know, it's kind of the coolest Pokemon on the team. It's kind of like the least meta Pokemon on the team, I guess. So yeah, I want to show it off. There could be a downside to bringing nothing but physical attackers though, like if they have Porygon. But if I can knock off Porygon's item, that's great. They lead Roaring Moon, which I'm happy about because that gives the Intimidate. And hopefully they have Booster Energy, so we waste it. They do. Is it attack? If it's attack, that's scary though. Okay, speed. Okay, so this thing is pretty severely weakened. Let's just go Will-O-Wisp. They have a lot of physical attackers, and even burning Porygon or Primarina is not bad. And of course, if we burn any of their physical attackers, that's just great. They go Acrobatics right off the bat. Oh, I was gonna say that does a lot of damage, but it's mainly because they got a crit, unfortunately. I think I'm just gonna Parting Shot here so I can preserve the Intimidate for later. We've done a good job of severely weakening this Roaring Moon. They just go Acrobatics again, and that does nothing. So that's great. We Parting Shot, and probably go into Chien-Pao just to scare them out. Like, we could go Swampert, but I don't think they... Well... Yeah... I mean, Earthquake is okay against their team. If I just click Earthquake. I think Chien-Pao's better. It probably scares them out. And we know we can survive a hit. Yeah, we take that hit really, really well. I mean, they're at -2 attack and they're burned, so they're doing nothing against me, and we are slowly whittling them down. We did get flinched, which is really annoying. I think at this point they're just kind of like cutting their losses or whatever it's called. Like they just know that their Roaring Moon is kind of dead and they don't want to switch anything else into it or into my Chien-Pao. So they're just kind of like doing as much damage as they possibly can before going down, which is what they do. And I feel like I like my position here, even though my Pokemon are weakened. That's why I like Incineroar a lot, because it's like, even if they go into something super threatening, we can just go back into Incineroar to intimidate them again. But they do go Goldango. They could Terra here. I wonder if I Terra. What are the odds? Let's see. I mean, if I Terra and their last Pokemon's Primarina... If I Terra here and then I end up fainting and their last Pokemon is Primarina, I'm in some trouble. But whatever, let's do it. Because if their last Pokemon's Primarina and I can go Terra Grass on... I can go Terra Grass on Swampert, then that's great for me, but... We're gonna just see what happens here. If their last Pokemon's Primarina, we are in a little bit of trouble. Unless we can get a knockout here. This should do a lot of damage. I hope they just go Make It Rain. Which is probably what they'll go for. Nice. If they go Make It Rain here, we're in a great spot. Yes. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Ooh, that does a lot of damage, though. But again, if their last Pokemon's Primarina, I think we're in a good spot. Although, of course, their Primarina could also Terra, but... The funny thing is, if they have Primarina and they Terra... and they're like Terra Fire, they probably they might survive a hit for me, but then my other two Pokemon can deal with it, so that actually works out. So if their last Pokemon's Primarina and they go Terra, that's actually good for me, because Primarina as a Water and Fairy type is very tough to take down. Let's see who their last one is. We still have Sucker Punch if their last one's like Dragonite. They have Extreme Speed, but this I think works out decently for me. Let's just crash just in case they don't extreme speed. Yeah, they extreme speed. We have Rocky Helmet, so they're going to take some damage, which is nice. Then we go right back into Incineroar, and we can burn them. And if they're like an offensive, like a physical Dragonite, we, I think, basically just win the game at that point. And we have Swampert in the back, so if they Terra, we can just use whatever move is best against their Dragonite. So I really like where we're at here. I could knock off. I think Will-O-Wisp is just better. They could, of course, Earthquake here, but we've already intimidated them, so... Low kick. Wow, okay. I'll take that, because we survive it, and then we eat our berry. So I think the game is over now. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead, though, because, of course, if they Terrastalize... Like, if they happen to kill my Incineroar here, and then they Terrastalize into a type... Like, and then I go into Swampert, I go for a move... Like, for example, if I go into Swampert and I go Ice Punch and then they go Terra Water, we might not win there, but I'm going to knock off now. Like, their attacks are going to do nothing. Yeah, we survive, like, every single attack from them now. That does a good amount of damage. Loaded dice. Okay, so we know they have Scale Shot. So they have Low Kick, Scale Shot, and Extreme Speed. I imagine their last move is Dragon Dance. It could be Roost, and if it is Roost, that's kind of annoying, but... again, they still have not Terrastalized, so I don't know if they're saving that. There we go. What would it be? Terra Normal, probably? This is good, though. This is good news, like I said, because now when I go into Swampert, I can just go for whatever move is best. So now that they're Terra Steel, once, like if my Incineroar dies, that was actually a bold play on their part, because obviously I'm a Fire type, so obviously I have some Fire type moves. Okay, well that just knocks them out. Perfect. All right, hey, knocking out Dragonites are great, or is great. Yeah, so that's another W. We'll take it. You know, I mean, the first game should have been a win. I'm not going to count it as a win because obviously we did lose. We made the wrong choice and ended up losing. But you know, that's good to see, right? I guess the second game wasn't the best game because they conceded early, but it was still fun to play, and that's why I really like this team. I think this team is really strong. I forgot to mention this in the intro for the video, but I was testing this team on Showdown, and I think this is like maybe the best team I've ever made on Showdown, at least record-wise, because I ended up getting to a decently high rating, like one of the highest ratings I've gotten to with this team, and I was beating teams with really high ratings pretty consistently. So yeah, this team feels really good. And again, Incineroar is just awesome. Like, I love that. Like in Battle Stadium singles, a lot of the time it feels like when some of my Pokemon take a little bit of damage early, it feels like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna lose them eventually because, you know, whatever the opponent goes into, they can just kind of finish them off. But Incineroar really changes that dynamic in a really good way because it weakens everything. Like that Intimidate when it switches in is insane. Like there's situations where Incineroar gets somewhat low on health, and in a lot of cases I would just typically let my Pokemon die. But with Incineroar, I'm just like, okay, I can just switch it out, go into something better, and then if I have to switch an Incineroar later, I just get Intimidate on the enemy, and that's just great. And if I still have the Citrus Berry, then I get that as well. So Incineroar just survives forever, and it really severely hinders a lot of Pokemon in the meta. Like, obviously, I find it to be really good against Dragonite because you at least intimidate them, and then if you burn them, it's usually GG against Dragonite, and they don't typically run Lumberry, although they could. But yeah, so this team was great. I'm glad. I mean, I guess we didn't get to show off Swampert because we didn't have to bring it in the end. But I'll probably feature this team again just because I really like it and it is really strong. If I'm going to make improvements to the team, I would say Breloom seems like probably the first Pokemon that can go. Everything else felt like it serves a really good purpose, and obviously Breloom was mainly there to kind of support Blastoise, and since I cut Blastoise, it's possible we don't need Breloom. And even in a lot of situations where I thought I wanted Breloom in these games, I just didn't really need it. Maybe because one of the reasons I didn't bring Breloom in some of these games was because they had Goldango, and again, I just cannot touch Goldango because it resists all my moves and it's immune to Spore. So maybe if I'm starting to see a lot more Goldangos, I'll switch back to Bulldoze instead of Rock Tomb. But then that makes me have a worse matchup against Dragonite, and Dragonite is more common, so I mean, I guess, you know, we have Incineroar for Dragonite, so I guess that can work. Although currently we have Incineroar for Goldango as well, technically. So either way, interesting stuff. Fun team, really strong. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Feel free to try it out for yourself. If you do try it out, also let me know how it does for you. Because again, personally, I feel like this is one of the stronger teams I've made in a while, since a lot of the teams lately have just been featuring, like, you know, fun Pokemon, we'll call them. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like and do subscribe for more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet videos. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.